Hi, this is Dale Buchanan, the host of Puppy Talk Podcast. Before we get started today, I wanted to let you know of my new book, The Complete Puppy Training Manual. It's available on Amazon in 4 formats: Kindle ebook, paperback, hardcover, and audiobook. You can find it on Amazon right now. It's called The Complete Puppy Training Manual, and I will put a link in the show notes of this episode. I'm Dale Buchanan, and this is Puppy Talk, the podcast that offers advice on how to raise a healthy, happy, and obedient puppy. This podcast is sponsored by Top Gun Dog Training. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast now so you don't miss a single episode of Puppy Talk. Welcome to Puppy Talk episode number 17. This morning, a good friend of mine named Richard sent me a text message with an article from the New York Times that reads, "The people who got puppies were in over their heads. Now professional dog trainers are all booked up. While you wait, they have some great advice to share." The first podcast that I did on January 8th for Puppy Talk was Raising a Puppy is a Lot of Work. And just about everything that is mentioned in this article, I have mentioned in every podcast that I have produced since the inception of Puppy Talk. In addition, I've also been writing articles for my website, topgundogtraining.com, since November 2019 on all of these same issues as well, even before the pandemic started. I have a great article that I'll link in this episode that is called Pandemic Puppies, and it talks about all of these problems. And I'm going to go over some of these problems, and I'm going to go over what some of the owners should be doing to actually help raise their puppy better so they don't develop behavior problems and they don't have issues before they can hire a trainer. So the first thing that you want to do when you get a new puppy, and this is just in review, the first thing that you want to do is you want to develop a solid structure and schedule for your puppy. Make sure that your puppy has a regimented schedule, that they know when they're going to be going outside to go potty, when they're going to eat, when it's playtime, when it's cuddle time, when it's training time, when it's crate time to go to sleep. All of these things need to be implemented into the puppy's life early on. Because if you don't, and you let the puppy do whatever they want, and then everybody comes over and starts playing with your puppy, then that's not going to create an obedient, disciplined puppy. Remember, my podcast in the intro is about providing advice and tips to create a healthy, happy, obedient puppy. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm giving you free advice in this podcast and on my website, Top Gun Dog Training. So there should really not be any problems. But another problem is dog trainers are getting booked up in advance, sometimes up to 3 months in advance. I know for me, if somebody was to call me today, I don't have any availability for a little while. So if somebody's having serious behavior problems with their dog, I can't jump in and fix it right away because I have no availability in my schedule. I can only do a certain amount of dog training per day, per week. I need some time off. Right now it's Friday and this is my day off and I'm recording a podcast. Because this article is very important. It's important for people to know that if you adopt a puppy, you have to put in the work. I just can't stress this enough. And in the last episode with Kim Brophy, talking about applied ethology for dogs, we talk a lot about how dogs are coming into people's lives in situations where the environment just isn't suitable for them. And they have no outlet for their energy, for their mental stimulation, socialization, and they get frustrated. They develop stress, anxiety, fear, and oftentimes aggression. Even young puppies are starting to be aggressive now. And the number one reason that Michael Shikashio said in the interview on preventing puppy aggression is lack of sleep. Puppies that don't have 18 hours of sleep a day or even 20 hours of sleep a day are going to be irritable. When they're irritable and somebody touches them or tries to play with them when they need sleep, they're going to snap back. They snap back and the owner gets frustrated and irritable, and then the dog bites. This is not a good situation. This is not a good situation for the dog or the owner. So the thing is, if you're going to get a puppy, you have to be able and be prepared to put in the work immediately when you bring that puppy home. And I don't mean that you have to hire a dog trainer the second that you bring the puppy home. You just have to do the right things. On another podcast that I did that became very popular, and it was a video on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, and an article that I wrote that was very popular long before I launched this podcast, is the first 5 things that you want to teach your puppy. And I'll review those with you because everybody I talk to that gets a new puppy, I tell them these are the first 5 things. Number 1, you want to stop your puppy from play biting. Don't let teeth touch skin at all. Give them an or leave it and then redirect them to something else that they want to chew or bite on. The next thing is you want to start teaching the puppy its name. The first day that you have that puppy home, start teaching it its name. Call its name. When they look at you, click. I've done an episode on clicker training. Click to mark the behavior and then feed them a food reward. That's how you start teaching the puppy its name. Start getting the puppy potty trained the day that you bring the puppy home. This is the biggest problem that I see when people call me and they say, I've got a new puppy, it's 6 months old. What's the problem? It's still peeing in the house. Well, that's a problem because you've had it for 4 months and it's still not potty trained. The problem is they used pee pads in the house because the breeder or the pet store told them to get pee pads, and they learned to go pee and poop inside the house. Now, to break that habit is very, very hard. So when you get your puppy home, like I did with Dixie, my mini Australian Shepherd, I got her at 10 weeks. She was potty trained in 1 day. I took her outside 10 times a day for the first week, and I never gave her an opportunity to go pee or poop inside my apartment. I was just on top of it. And if I wasn't home, I had somebody come over. I had a dog walker. I had a neighbor. They brought her outside. I had to go down a hallway, down an elevator, through a parking lot, to a little teeny weeny patch of grass and say, go potty, Dixie, go potty. She'd been in my life for 1 day and she did it. And when she did it, I praised her. Yay, good girl. Way to go, Dixie. Woo! Throw a party. And she never went pee in the house again, in the apartment again, ever. The next thing you want to teach your puppy is to come. Go around the house or the apartment and start calling your puppy's name and saying, Dixie, come. And when they start to come towards you because they hear your voice, you say, good girl. And then you reward them when they get to you. That's how you do it. You want them to start coming to you. And also you want to start teaching leash training. Get a slip lead. Get a flat collar, a buckle collar. Get anything that you can take the dog out for walks on the street, on the sidewalk, so it doesn't get into contaminated grass. And get this puppy outside. Take it for car rides. Take it to the pet store. Take it to the vet. Take it anywhere. But get the puppy outside as long as it doesn't have the opportunity to get in contaminated grass where it can pick up a disease such as a parasite, giardia, or parvo, or something like that. You do have to be careful, but you can still socialize your puppy and get it outside and teach it how to walk on a leash. Very, very important. The next thing you need to do is you need to take leadership. Now, I'm not talking about pack leadership or dominance or alpha dog or anything like that. If you've ever owned a company, if you've ever owned a business, and you have to manage staff and employees, you have a relationship with them. And you're giving guidance, you're giving leadership, you're giving direction. And that's what you need to do with your puppy. Give it leadership, guidance, coaching. Be somebody that they can trust, that they can look up to learn, to get the guidance they need to bring them through into adulthood and for the rest of their life. Because if they don't have leadership from you, who are they going to get the leadership from? They're not going to create it themselves because puppies cannot make a lot of good decisions themselves. And when they start to make decisions, they're going to make bad decisions. They're going to make very bad decisions. They're going to jump on things. They're going to bite stuff. They're going to chew furniture. They're going to bark a lot. They're going to cry a lot. They're going to beg a lot. And once your puppy starts doing that and it's rehearsed and reinforced, if it's self-rewarding, then there is a big problem because to change that behavior is going to take some time. That's where behavior modification comes in. So before you even hire a dog trainer, you can go on topgundogtraining.com and see how I have a schedule on there. I'll put the link in this episode. I'll put all of these links in this episode. I have a schedule on there, how to structure your puppy's day. And every single client that I have in person that hires me to help them raise their puppy follows this schedule to a T, and they have zero problems with their puppy. So if you're considering getting a puppy during this pandemic, then you have to take responsibility and you have to raise this puppy properly, or else there are going to be a lot of problems, as is mentioned in this article from the New York Times. The link is going to be in this episode. If you have any questions, feel free to email us through our website, puppytalkpodcast.com. You can also leave a review and leave a donation if you find this podcast helpful. Thank you and have a great day. This is Dale Buchanan, host of Puppy Talk Podcast. I have an announcement of a new book that I just published called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback, soon to be available on audiobook. You can find out all the details of this book using the link in the show notes. It's called Potty Training Your Puppy. It's a comprehensive book with a simple and effective way to help potty train your puppy, and it really works. Check out the link in the show notes.